played the boxing game. And what this speaks to, and this is a boxing show, boxing is fundamentally exploitative. I get this as a fan. It's a guilty pleasure. I get it, right? And usually it's fans and networks exploiting fighters, right? We say, we want to see you in blood and guts fights, which risks their health for the rest of their life to entertain us. But here's what's crazy to me about a fight like that. And I remember, you know, when I'm a little kid, Sugar Ray Leonard wins the gold medal, and then you blink, he's fighting Benitez for the title, then he's fighting Durant twice, then he's fighting Hearns. It didn't take 100 years to make the fight. But what's wild about something like this is a real super fight, and I said this on the broadcast for Crawford and Canelo, can't be promoted into existence. Right. What a real super fight is, the dust settles in an era, and there are two dudes left standing. There's Ali, there's Frazier, there's Leonard, there's Hagler, there's Mayweather, there's Pacquiao. That's a super fight, right? There's Crawford, there's Canelo. Those are two big fighters of the era. This type of fight, this could easily be at the end of an era, because Teo might be a dude left standing and Shakur could be the dude left standing, right?
I agree. Are you training to do something to not just beat Shakur, but to beat him in grand fashion? When I say grand fashion, I mean going for the knockout.
Well, I think that the whole thing is the Bible of boxing really is that if you look for the knockout, you won't get it. You know, I think really it's just all about setting the good pace early in the beginning rounds and then going from there.
We have going for us when a person underestimates you. That's lovely. And that ain't the only thing he's underestimating.
Max Kellerman says this fight is anything but simple, warning that it's quietly dangerous for Shakur, the kind of matchup that looks calm on the surface but hides real risk underneath, and ultimately frames it as a true test of skill, where every moment matters, every mistake carries weight, and the outcome could redefine how the world sees him.
Aesthetically pleasing fight. We've seen the way Teo goes against some of these boxers. We've seen Shakur in some bad fights, obviously. Although Shakur looks pretty damn good against Williams Zepeda. Teo's not a pressure guy. He likes to counter punch. Two counter punchers, really.
Yes, it is not like, but there are some fights, guys. I think about Pernell Whitaker and Buddy McGirt, or Sugar Ray Leonard and Wilfred Benitez. I love the high-speed chess match. Not every fight has to be rock'em sock'em robots, right? That is, I agree with you. Aesthetically, there could be problems because someone has to take the lead, and they're both counterpunchers. But Chris, Teo has some angles with his feet that might bother a guy like Shakur.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, he has great angles with the feet. He moves greater in the ring, and combination fighter. To me, combinations is...
Teo stays determined and says the fight will be a rude awakening for Shakur Stevenson when they finally meet, hinting that all the hype, all the confidence, and all the predictions will collide with a reality Shakur isn't ready for, a moment where expectations shatter and the truth of the matchup finally reveals itself.
Number one, my mandatory, and he didn't. He was too hesitant trying to commit to punches. So I think that it's just something that's going to be a rude awakening for Shakur.
Hey, Doug, you hear that? He said the Bible of boxing. What else is called the Bible of boxing? Ring Magazine. And he's a two-division Ring Magazine champ.
Great ambassador for those championship belts as well.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm very big on those things. You know, I claimed 2 weight divisions, 2 Ring Magazine.
Shakur's coach, Jack, says they stuck with their usual training methods, but quietly adjusted the strategy this time, shifting the focus to preparing him smarter, not just harder, making subtle changes behind the scenes that could end up being the difference when it really counts.
Trying a few new little things, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's basically the same thing we've been doing. We changed the strategy, but no camp is never exactly the same. So, yeah, it's just like always. Like, we may try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's mainly the same things. One of the best things we have going for us when a person underestimates you. That's lovely. And that ain't the only thing he's underestimating. So we're good.
Max Kellerman says that while Shakur's power is impressive, the kind that makes people stop and pay attention, Teo's strength and footwork in the ring are just as formidable, revealing a fighter who isn't just tough but calculated. Someone whose movement tells a story of determination, discipline, and skill coming together at the exact moment it matters most.
And the thing I like about Teo's style, I mean, when you have a guy like Shakur whose defense is that good, And he's not just a guy who's going to hug you, he can box, you know? The easiest thing in the world is just to pick him against everybody.
Right.
Yes.
But Teo also has the kind of footwork, Malik, where he steps around guys. And I think about Buddy McGirt, Meldrick Taylor.
Yes.
Roy, you know, where Meldrick had quick enough feet where if you were going to come right at Buddy McGirt, he could box you. But Meldrick could give him angles that were more difficult. I think of Roy Jones, James Toney. If you were going to go at James Toney, forget it. His defense is too good. But Roy had the feet to move around James Toney, and maybe Teo has the feet to move around Shakur.
I seriously doubt it, man. Shakur is a whole different type of animal. His ring IQ is up there with the best. He's getting literally, I don't know how many times we've seen two.
Shakur says people criticize him, brushing off his accomplishments and rarely giving him the credit he deserves, often downplaying his hard-earned victories and labeling his opponents as insignificant, as if the battles he's fought, the sweat he's poured into the ring, don't even matter in the larger story of his rise.
And just kept it moving. I do feel like I am in the situation that when I do make fighters look bad and beat them up, the first thing that they going to run to is, oh, this guy wasn't that good, or this guy is not nobody. They're going to take away from my resume, same way they did with Bud. Just like my last fight. They turned the dude that I was fighting and they say he's a cab driver. But I want to say his fight before he fought me, he fought Nakatani. And no disrespect to Teo. Teo had, a majority decision with Nakatani. Lomachenko, it took him 9 to 10 rounds to get him out of there. That dude got him out of there in 6. So he couldn't be as bad as how they made him seem. But I think I'm just in a lose situation when it comes down to it, because anybody that I fight, they gonna.
This time, he's determined to prove himself, to step into the ring with a fire that can't be ignored, ready to silence the doubters once and for all, turning every punch, every move into a statement that his place at the top is earned, undeniable, and long overdue.
I fight. They gonna act like I didn't fight nobody. Even with Edwin. Edwin is a great fighter, but after I beat him, they're gonna sit there and say that he wasn't as good as.
Meanwhile, Ryan Garcia has weighed in on the highly anticipated showdown between Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, offering insight that mixes confidence with caution. While he leans toward Shakur as the likely victor, he's quick to remind everyone that Teofimo can't be underestimated, a force in the ring with power and adaptability that keeps even the best on edge. Garcia highlights Stevenson's skills, lightning speed, and defensive mastery, painting him as a fighter whose precision and technique give him a tangible edge, making him a nightmare matchup for anyone in the lightweight division. Yet he admits Lopez's strength, relentless drive, and ability to adjust mid-fight make the outcome far from certain. At this level, Garcia explains, fights are often decided by the tiniest margins, split-second timing, and seizing fleeting opportunities, where a single combination or clever adjustment can flip the script entirely. To him, this matchup is a fascinating collision of styles. Stevenson's technical brilliance weaving against Lopez's versatile offense, each move loaded with potential consequences. While he ultimately favors Shakur, Garcia stresses that Lopez has all the tools to shock the world, reminding fans that in boxing, even the favorite must respect the unpredictability of the fight.
I would put my money on Shakur, but I won't be surprised if Teofimo surprises us all, for sure. I think I'm underestimating Teofimo a little bit, but I don't think he can make the necessary adjustments to his own style to combat what Shakur does best. But he could definitely prove me wrong, for sure.
Oscar Valdez recently shared his take on the upcoming Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson clash, explaining why he believes Lopez has a real shot at victory. Valdez zeroes in on Lopez's positioning, footwork, and innate counter-punching instincts, highlighting how he uses his back foot to stay balanced, step away when necessary, and exploit his long reach to land crisp, calculated counters. This approach lets him engage in a style where he can take shots without suffering major damage, a craft he's sharpened since his amateur days and Olympic experience. Valdez points out that casual fans might overlook the brilliance in this method, but for those who understand the sweet science, it's a defining element of Teofimo's arsenal. According to him, toppling a fighter like Shakur Stevenson isn't about brute force. It demands patience, perfect timing, and strategic pressure, turning each exchange into a chess match where a single move can change the fight entirely.
him first. And Shakur Stevenson, the way he's positioned, the way his back foot's there, and then you see him comfortable, and he's all right. This is my shot, and you throw it. He just rocks back, or he has that back foot, just steps back, and he has a long reach, so he just counters punches you. And that's part of the game. You get hit and not get hit. And Shakur Stevenson does it to the T. He perfected that since he was an amateur and Olympian, silver medalist, and now he's done it as a professional. Maybe not the whole world enjoys it, but the boxing, the pure boxing fan will maybe appreciate that.
I know you tried to do it, and Shakur's undefeated at this point, but like, how do you beat a Shakur Stevenson?
I think how you beat a Shakur Stevenson, if I can go back.
Teofimo must patiently wait for the perfect moment to land shots that put Stevenson in tough spots, echoing moments in boxing history where clever timing and precision allowed underdogs to topple technically superior foes. Valdez draws these parallels to show that opportunity, more than sheer power, often decides fights. He highlights Lopez's calm composure, masterful distance control, and sharp counterpunching under pressure, painting him as a legitimate threat. By applying smart, calculated pressure while staying defensively sound, Teofimo has the tools to challenge Stevenson's undefeated record. For Valdez, this isn't just a clash of skill. It's a chess match in the ring, a tactical battle where Lopez's patience counters and timing could very well tip the scales and rewrite the story of the showdown.
He has no other option. We all got tremendous fighters who box very well. You got Sugar Ray Leonard to Roberto Duran came, and he ended up catching him. You got Sweet Pete Pernell Whitaker. He was an amazing defensive fighter. So Zurdo Ramirez came in and beat him. Then and other fighters. So everyone, I think time will tell what type of fighter. But I would say a pressured fighter. Maybe someone like Pitbull. We know Pitbull has had some losses with guys who are even less defensive fighters than Shakur Stevenson. Rayo Venezuela and then Gervonta Davis and then his country.
Zach Moses shared his candid take on the looming showdown between Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, confidently asserting that Stevenson is poised to dominate the matchup. He underscores Shakur's technical brilliance, lightning speed, and high ring IQ, painting him as a fighter whose precision and awareness give him a clear edge over Lopez. Moses highlights Stevenson's mastery of distance, his uncanny ability to read opponents, and his knack for capitalizing on even the smallest mistakes, skills that make him a nightmare for anyone in the lightweight division. While he acknowledges Teofimo's raw power and relentless determination, Moses believes Stevenson's experience, composure, and tactical approach will neutralize those strengths. He references past fights against fighters like Vazil and Moden to illustrate how Stevenson consistently handles aggressive challengers, proving that his methodical, cerebral style is one of the hardest in boxing to overcome.
The fight against Teofimo, Madison Square Garden next week. How do you see that playing out?
I see him beating the shit out of Teofimo. I see Teo just, I don't want to really say too much, but I see Teo coming to do what he do, and I see Shakur coming to do what he do. And I just see Shakur doing whatever he want. And any type of way he want it, that's how it's going to be. And next week is a big week. And I can't wait for bro to show everybody, for real.
You said beat the shit out of him. Do you think he's going to stop Teofimo Lopez? Do you think if he wants to, he can?
I mean, he act crazy. I think he can. That's what I'm going to say. He act crazy. I think he can.
Last one. Obviously, with that fight in the horizon, you want to be involved in big fights like that going down, that New York, New Jersey rivalry. Is that something that inspires you when you see Shakur doing this at the high?
Antonio Tarver recently analyzed the upcoming clash between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, laying out what he sees as the only realistic path for Lopez to claim victory. He explains that Stevenson's true strength lies in controlling distance, working angles, and keeping the fight centered in the ring. Positions that naturally tilt the odds in his favor and make it tough for Lopez to find openings. But Tarver points out that if Stevenson is forced onto the back foot or pressed against the ropes, Lopez suddenly unlocks critical opportunities to strike. His lightning-fast combinations and ability to unleash both hands in rapid succession make him especially dangerous up close, even against a defensive wizard like Stevenson. Tarver also emphasizes that beyond skill, conditioning and mental sharpness are just as crucial, hinting that the fighter who stays focused, patient, and relentless could very well dictate the outcome of this highly anticipated battle.
In the middle, you got to favor Shakur, but if he's on the back foot, if he's on the ropes, I mean, that's going to give Teofimo a lot of opportunities. And what makes Teofimo, I believe, dangerous in this fight, he throws both hands in succession. He's a combination type puncher, and that always serves well if you got a real slick defensive fighter in there. If Shakur can show us a little bit of that, what he had in his last fight, a lot of that work in the center of the ring, it's going to be an exciting fight. I think you got to favor the guy who's in the best condition, not only physically, but mentally. I think, these guys are going to have to lock in, and they can't let, that intricate, you got to have your personal life in order. You know what I'm saying? Leading up to a fight this big. You know what I mean? That's going to be
Both fighters must be in peak physical shape and laser focused, setting aside any personal distractions, because at this level, even a momentary lapse in concentration can prove costly. While the stats and natural traits lean in Stevenson's favor as the likely victor, Lopez has the tools to turn the fight into a true test by forcing exchanges and applying pressure at the right moments. By keeping Stevenson wary of counterpunches, Lopez can disrupt his rhythm, open up gaps, and even swing momentum his way. His stamina and relentless conditioning add another layer of threat, especially if the fight stretches into the later rounds. Tarver highlights how Teofimo has historically thrived when written off, pointing to his performances against elite fighters like Lomachenko and Josh Taylor. If Lopez can fuse his power, precision, and resilience effectively, he stands a genuine chance to challenge Stevenson's dominance, transforming this matchup into an electrifying battle of skill, strategy, and sheer willpower that could go down in boxing history.
Yeah, I mean, smart money would be on the boxer, Shakur Stevenson, winning the decision. But, if Lopez can make this fight, a lot tougher than expected, and he's going to have to exchange with Shakur. He's a fast fighter. We don't know who's the quickest or fastest here. You have to give the speed edge to Shakur. But if Lopez can punch with this fast guy, make him a little bit cautious and a little bit leery of what's coming back, that serves him well. But Teofimo is one of the best conditioned fighters out there. If this fight goes late, you can expect him to be pushing forward round 9, 10, and 11 if it goes late.
Yeah, a big question is always like what Teo is going to show up. And like when everyone's counted out Teo, it's actually been the times where he's like upset people, like against Lomachenko, against Josh Taylor.
Wade Plemons breaks down the upcoming clash between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, painting Stevenson as a defensive genius and a true maestro in the ring. According to Plemons, Stevenson's ability to turn defense into offense sets him apart, almost like a modern-day professor of the sweet science, reading punches, anticipating movements, and converting opponents' aggression into sharp, decisive counters. His style isn't about absorbing punishment or relying on sheer volume. It's calculated, precise, and devastatingly effective. For Lopez, the challenge lies in blending his offensive pace with boxing IQ, trying to get Stevenson to fight on the front foot where small gaps might appear, testing whether Stevenson can control the center of the ring under pressure. Plemons highlights Lopez's versatility, his ability to switch between defensive counter-punching and aggressive offense, which could allow him to adapt to Stevenson's fluid movements in ways few fighters can. Yet the task is far from simple. Stevenson's defensive mastery, combined with seamless transitions to fence, makes him exceptionally difficult to crack. Lopez must lure Stevenson into positions where counters can be exploited, requiring patience, precision, and perfect timing, because a single misstep could hand control back to Stevenson in an instant. Ultimately, this fight shapes up as a chess match at the highest level. Stevenson's defensive brilliance and offensive transitions clash with Lopez's adaptability and pressure, creating a battle that will test strategy, timing, and ring intelligence, promising a tactical showdown where every decision, every feint, and every punch carries immense weight.
William Zepeda-esque style. He's not just going to be front foot, volume punching, eat punches to give punches. That's not how he's going to fight. He is going to try to go boxing IQ for boxing IQ with Shakur, but I assume do it more on an offensive front foot pace than trying to goad Shakur to walk to him. I mean, it might be the best option for Teofimo if he could get Shakur to be front foot and offensive because of maybe the deficiencies Shakur has on the front foot. We haven't really seen him be a dominant front foot control center fighter. But this is why I'm hoping, again, knock on wood, we don't get like a defensive standoff where we're both feinting and no one wants to take the lead foot and both guys want to play counterpuncher. I think that Teo can do both better than Shakur can do both. I think Shakur is probably the better defensive to offensive fighter. I think Teo could probably...
That's it for today's video, but the story isn't over. Stay tuned, because the next chapter promises even more drama, insight, and action inside the ring. Until next time, keep your eyes on the fight, because every moment counts.